Hello, dear Soul Stories family. Welcome back. Today, we're bringing you another stirring tale of romance and fate. So sit tight and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you never miss another heartwarming story. Let's dive in. Anna Cooper stepped out of the yellow cab, her tailored office dress hugging her form as she moved briskly, urgency radiating from every step. Her chestnut hair, tied into a neat ponytail, danced slightly in the cool April breeze drifting through New York. Her watch flashed 8:45 a.m. Only 15 minutes left until the crucial client meeting. Clutched in her hand was an iPad, holding the comprehensive proposal for the biggest event of the year organized by Prestige Events, her company. Towering above her like a jewel in the Manhattan skyline stood the Imperial Crown Hotel, a 50-story monument of glass and marble, with golden revolving doors that shimmered like treasure. It was opulent and intimidating, a place where only power and elegance walked hand in hand. Anna inhaled deeply, calming her nerves. This was her shot to prove herself, especially since her boss Linda had entrusted her with curating an international gala featuring top-tier CEOs and A-list celebrities. Her heels echoed with poised urgency against the polished granite floor as she entered the main lobby. The interior welcomed her with a blend of lily and sandalwood fragrances, accompanied by faint piano notes floating from an unseen lounge. Behind the reception desk, a young woman in a crisp navy uniform gave her a courteous smile. "Good morning. Do you have an appointment?" she asked while scanning the digital interface before her. "Yes," Anna answered, her tone polite but pressed. "I'm Anna Cooper from Prestige Events. I'm here to finalize details for tomorrow's gala. The meeting room is still on the 45th floor, correct?" She flicked a glance at her watch again, mentally calculating every second. The receptionist scanned the system, then blinked. "That's correct. It was the Sapphire Room. But there's been a change. The meeting is now in the presidential suite, also on the 45th. Just take the elevator on the right. I'll activate your key card." Something in her gut twisted, but Anna didn't pause to investigate the feeling. She accepted the key card, thanked the receptionist quickly, and strode to the elevator. The soft gold light of the crystal chandelier above brought a fleeting sense of peace. She pressed 45, took a breath, and reviewed the presentation outline one more time. The elevator opened with a soft ding, revealing a hallway lined with burgundy carpet and modern art in gilded frames. She swiped the card at the presidential suite door and pushed it open, assuming it led to a boardroom. But instead of a meeting setup, she found a luxurious apartment-style room wrapped in floor-to-ceiling windows that displayed the Manhattan skyline in breathtaking clarity. A sleek black armchair sat beside a walnut desk, where a man spoke firmly into a laptop, his voice slicing through the silence. "No excuses. I want that report by Friday." The voice made her breath catch. It was too familiar, like the echo of an old scar reopening. Her gaze slowly lifted. There he was, Nathan Carter, her ex-husband, dressed impeccably in a navy suit, his black hair perfectly styled, those piercing blue eyes sharper than memory. When he looked up and saw her, a flicker of something unreadable crossed his face. He ended the call with icy precision. "I'll get back to you." He rose, tall and commanding. Anna's fingers clutched her iPad like a lifeline. 3 years. 3 whole years since she walked away from this man and their broken marriage. And now here he was, standing just a few feet away as though no time had passed. "Anna," Nathan said, his voice low with an edge that hinted at danger. "You're in the wrong room, but maybe fate doesn't want to let you walk away this time." She swallowed hard, gathering her composure. "There's clearly a mix-up. I'm here for a professional meeting. Not this." She turned to leave, her hand on the knob, but his voice cut the air. "Stop." She froze, not from fear but from the ghost of power his tone still held. Slowly she turned to meet his gaze. "Nathan, I don't have time for this. I have work to do." He stepped forward, slow and measured, his eyes scanning her from head to toe. "Work? In my hotel?" he murmured, tilting his head. "You look the same, but something tells me the single life agrees with you." His words hit like cold water. Anna's fist clenched. "Thanks for the unnecessary commentary. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to find the correct room." Nathan didn't budge. He leaned back against the desk, folding his arms, his gaze sharp. You still haven't explained why you're in my private suite. Her voice rose in frustration before she steadied it. The receptionist told me this was the meeting room. Clearly, someone on your staff made an error. He raised an eyebrow as if weighing her sincerity, then smirked. That maddening half-smile she once loved and grew to hate. Or maybe it wasn't an error. Maybe fate just wanted us to collide again, he said. Her cheeks flushed. Don't flatter yourself, Nathan. The world doesn't revolve around you. He chuckled, low and knowing. Still fiery, Anna. But you know me. I've never believed in coincidences. She opened her mouth, but he kept going. You're here with prestige events for the gala, right? I saw your firm's name on the list. She blinked. How do you know that? Because, he said simply, this is my hotel. And I approve every contract. The revelation hit her like a crashing wave. He wasn't just an inconvenient memory. He was the man controlling her event, her career. Well then, she replied, voice steady. All the better. I'll handle my job professionally. We won't have to cross paths again. He moved closer, just a breath away. She could smell his familiar cologne, sandalwood and mint. Professional, huh? He murmured. Do you really think we can pretend we were never something? Her heart hammered. Memories surged, of their nights under city lights, of angry fights and silent tears, of when she left the ring on the table and walked away from love that turned into loneliness. We're over, Nathan, she said, her voice trembling. We ended this 3 years ago. His expression darkened. If you want to leave, fine, but this gala is under my roof. You'll work under my supervision. If not, I'll cancel the contract. And you know I don't bluff. Her breath caught. He was still the same, controlling, ruthless. But she was no longer the woman who crumbled under his words. She straightened her back and met his gaze without flinching. Fine, Nathan, I'll do my job. But don't think for a second that you get to control me again. She opened the door, walked out, and didn't look back. But as the door closed behind her, her pulse thudded in her throat. And deep down, she knew this wasn't the end, just the beginning of another storm. Anna stepped out of the elevator and tried to steady her breath, shaking off the whirlwind of emotions Nathan's unexpected presence had stirred the day before. The elegant calm of the Imperial Crown's corridors did little to soothe her nerves. Today was her first official day preparing for the gala, and she'd promised herself, focus on work, avoid Nathan. All will be fine. She smoothed her navy blazer and opened her iPad. The to-do list stretched endlessly. Inspect the ballroom, review floral arrangements, finalize the menu with the chef, and test the sound equipment. This event was a milestone opportunity, but Nathan's looming influence made her uneasy. He said she'd work under his supervision. Was that literal, or just another mind game? Pushing that thought aside, she entered the Sapphire Ballroom, the main event space. The room was vast and exquisite, with high ceilings, glimmering chandeliers, and delicate white silk drapes. Staff were bustling about, setting up tables and adjusting lighting. Anna jumped right in, giving directions, checking placements, momentarily forgetting the man haunting her thoughts. Until her phone buzzed. A message from Linda. Anna, the hotel CEO, Nathan Carter, requested a personal meeting to review the plan. 2 p.m. today, his 45th floor office. Please make sure everything goes smoothly. Anna's face went pale. Another meeting with Nathan? She gripped the phone tightly, steadying herself. Okay, she whispered. It's business. I'll treat it like any other client. As the last of the partners filed out of the room, Anna quickly gathered her iPad, hoping to escape before Nathan could get close again. But he was already moving, purposeful, quiet. In 2 strides, he stood in front of her, blocking her exit with casual precision. Anna, he said, his voice low. Private, just for her. She didn't look up, didn't want to, not with her heart thudding the way it was. Then he asked it. Why are you still wearing that necklace? Her fingers instinctively rose to the small sapphire at her collarbone, brushing it like a reflex. For a second, she said nothing, because the truth was too loud in her chest and too dangerous on her lips. I told you, she managed, eyes still on her iPad. It's just a habit. Nathan leaned in, close enough that she could smell the faint scent of cedar and something familiar. Him. Anna, he repeated, softer this time. You don't wear a wedding gift by accident. She looked up, finally meeting his gaze, and instantly regretted it. His eyes weren't teasing now. They were searching, open, aching in a way that made it hard to breathe. And just like that, all her walls trembled. The elevator began to move again. Anna quickly wiped her cheeks, straightened her posture, and turned her face away from Nathan, forcing her expression into something resembling indifference. She wouldn't let him see the raw storm of emotion in her eyes. Not after everything. Not when she was just beginning to rebuild the walls she'd spent 3 years strengthening. Nathan didn't speak, but his gaze didn't waver. He stood silently, hands in his pockets, eyes fixed on the digital floor numbers as they ticked upward. When the elevator finally stopped and the doors slid open, Anna stepped out first, her heels clicking sharply against the marble floor, a staccato echo of the fury and confusion pulsing in her chest. Nathan, she said without turning back, her voice steady but low. Don't follow me. He remained still as she walked away, her silhouette disappearing down the hall like a ghost from his past, one he could see but never quite touch. Later that night, Anna lay in bed, her apartment silent save for the distant sound of thunder rolling over the city. The necklace lay on her nightstand, the sapphire catching the occasional flash of lightning through her window. She stared at it, heart heavy. Nathan's words played on loop in her mind. You took my whole world with you. She hated how they moved her, how they made her question everything she thought she'd closed the door on. And yet deep down she knew, no matter how tightly she clutched her pride, or how fiercely she pretended, some part of her had never stopped loving him, growing nervousness. But then she saw Linda across the room, giving her a subtle nod and a wink. Encouragement, or maybe approval. Anna looked back at Nathan, his hand still extended, his expression open and unguarded, for once. It wasn't just a dance, it was a moment, one that threatened to pull her into a tide she'd spent 3 years swimming away from. Still, her hand moved before her mind could stop it. She slipped it into his. As he led her onto the dance floor, a hush seemed to fall over the space around them. Not literal silence, but a soft blurring of the background, like the world had dimmed so they could exist inside a single spotlight. His hand settled gently on her waist, the other clasping hers with the same warm steadiness he'd used to stop her in the elevator. They moved slowly, gracefully. The jazz band played a tender, lilting tune that made her feel like she was in a different time, a different version of her life. Nathan didn't speak, and neither did she. Words might ruin it. But in the space between them, things were being said anyway. Every glance, every subtle shift, every breath was heavy with memory and the weight of the things they hadn't dared confess. As they danced, Anna couldn't stop the ache that rose in her chest. Grief for what they'd lost, and terror for what might still remain. The song ended. Nathan didn't let go right away. His voice was low, meant only for her. I don't want to lose you again. Anna felt the air catch in her throat. She should have pulled away. She should have said something witty or cold or safe. Instead, she whispered, Then don't make me regret this. He nodded once, solemnly. I won't. But they both knew nothing about this was simple. Not the past, not the wounds, not the fragile, burning thing that still existed between them. As Anna stepped back, leaving his arms, she felt everyone's eyes shift away. Conversation resumed. The clinking glasses returned. But her world was still spinning. She didn't know where this road with Nathan led. She only knew that tonight, for one dangerous, unforgettable moment, she had let herself be his again. There was tension in the air, but Nathan's hand remained extended, patient, inviting. Finally, she sighed and placed her hand in his. One dance, she warned, her voice laced with hesitation. Nathan smiled and led her to the center of the dance floor. The band shifted into a slow waltz, and the lights dimmed, wrapping the room in a warm, intimate glow. He placed his hand on her waist, light but firm, and drew her close. Their bodies moved in sync, as if the 3 years apart had never existed. Anna felt the heat of his palm, the familiar sandalwood of his cologne, and the stutter of her own heartbeat. She tried to focus on the steps, but Nathan's gaze held her captive. "You're more beautiful than ever, Anna," he whispered. "I've never forgotten this feeling." His words stirred something deep within her. Beneath the twinkling lights, they were transported to a time before the pain, back to the tiny apartment, the midnight dances, the laughter, the shared dreams. But reality crept in, sharp and unwelcome. She lowered her gaze, shielding her emotions. "Don't say things like that, Nathan," she murmured. "We can't go back." Nathan's grip tightened slightly as he pulled her closer. "Maybe not, but I'm not giving up on a future, Anna." The music faded, but Nathan didn't release her right away. He looked into her eyes, the intensity in his gaze threatening to shatter her carefully guarded heart. "Thank you for the dance," she said, forcing a smile as she slipped her hand from his. "I need to get back to work." She left the dance floor quickly, her heart pounding. The moment had been too real, too powerful, and staying a second longer might have caused the walls she'd built to come crashing down. The next morning, Anna stepped into her temporary office, her mind still spinning from the dance. She had tried to keep her distance, but every shared moment with Nathan chipped away at her resolve. She was determined to focus. London was next, and there was work to do. Then Linda called. "I need a green folder from Nathan's office. Can you grab it quickly? It's urgent." Anna hesitated, her chest tightening. "Okay." She walked to his office and knocked. No answer. She turned the handle. It was unlocked. He must have been in a meeting. She stepped inside, scanning for the folder. It wasn't on the desk, so she opened a drawer. Then a small wooden box slipped and fell. Its contents spilled across the floor. She knelt down, and her breath caught. Inside the box were fragments of their past. Movie tickets from their first date, a tiny framed wedding photo, both of them smiling, naive, in love, and an unopened envelope with her name in Nathan's handwriting. Her hands trembled. She knew she shouldn't, but emotion overpowered caution. She opened the letter. "Anna, I don't know where to begin. Maybe I don't have the right to write this. Not after everything I did. I left you alone. Put work above you. And when you walked away, I realized how foolish I'd been. I regretted it the moment you signed the divorce papers. But I wasn't brave enough to face you. I was afraid you'd never forgive me. I still love you, Anna. I always have. If there's even the smallest chance, I'd spend the rest of my life making it right." Nathan's tears slid down her cheeks. The letter had been written 3 years ago, but never sent. Why? Why had he kept it, buried among mementos like a painful secret? The door opened. Nathan walked in, his eyes landing immediately on the box and the letter in her hand. "Anna," his voice broke. "You read it?" She stood quickly, wiping away her tears. "Why didn't you send it, Nathan? Why didn't you say anything?" He stepped forward, pain in his eyes. "Because I was afraid. Afraid you'd never forgive me. Afraid to see you and know I'd lost you forever." "You don't understand," Anna whispered, her voice shaking. "I waited for you. I hoped you'd come, that you'd fight for us. But you didn't." "I know," Nathan said quietly, taking another step closer. "I was a coward. But when I saw you walk into my hotel that day, I knew it was my last chance. I can't let you go again." She looked at him, and for the first time she saw a different man. No longer the distant CEO or the husband who had let her go. Just Nathan, vulnerable, raw, real. "I don't know if I can trust you again," she admitted. He gently touched her arm. "Then let me earn it, Anna. I'll prove it, in every way." She pulled her hand back, but she didn't leave. Somewhere deep inside, the wall began to crumble. Anna sat beside Nathan on the private jet, gazing out the window as clouds drifted past. The London trip was part of their joint effort for the investor conference, yet silence hung between them, heavy with everything unsaid. Nathan flipped through documents, but his eyes often strayed to her. In the weeks since the gala, he'd changed. Quiet gestures, subtle care, always looking out for her. But the dance, the letter, they haunted her. She still loved him, but fear clung like a shadow. The plane landed in London, and they plunged into work. The conference venue, a grassy outdoor space behind the hotel, was being transformed. Anna oversaw lighting and sound. Nathan met with investors. By sunset, the stage was nearly complete. She walked up to inspect the platform, wooden steps, freshly built. Then a plank gave way. Anna screamed as she stumbled toward the edge. Suddenly, strong arms caught her. Nathan. He held her close, one hand at her waist, the other steadying her shoulder. Anna, he said, breathless. Are you okay? She looked up into his eyes, deep blue, flooded with concern. And something more. I'm fine, she whispered, but her body trembled. Don't scare me like that, Nathan said softly. He still hadn't let go. Tears welled up, not from the fall, but from the storm of feelings inside her. Her voice broke. Nathan, I still love you. I never stopped, but I'm scared. I'm so scared you'll hurt me again. For a moment, neither of them breathed. Then Nathan's eyes flared with determination. Anna, I'll spend my life proving you didn't make the wrong choice. I won't promise you the world, but I'll give you everything I have. She looked at him, heart caught between longing and fear. Under the golden London sky, she nodded faintly, wiped her tears, and stepped back. We need to get back to work, she said, her voice fragile. He didn't stop her, but his eyes told her he wouldn't give up. Back in New York, everything had shifted. The walls she'd kept around her heart were cracking. But just as Anna started to believe again, the past reared its head. While reviewing the guest list in the Sapphire Ballroom, a striking woman in a red dress swept into the room like she owned it. Victoria Lang, the Hollywood actress, as flawless as ever. She made a beeline for Nathan. He greeted her politely but didn't step away as she kissed his cheek, rested a hand on his shoulder, laughed loudly like they shared some private world. Anna's stomach twisted. Later that evening, whispers filled the hall. Did you hear? Nathan Carter and Victoria Lang are getting engaged. It's been going on for years. Anna's heart plummeted. That night, she stormed into his office. Nathan, she said, trembling, what is Victoria Lang to you? He looked up, frowning. Victoria, she's just an acquaintance. Why? An acquaintance? Anna gave a bitter laugh. She hugged you, kissed your cheek, and now everyone's saying you're engaged. What am I supposed to think? Nathan stood, eyes darkening. Anna, listen to me. Anna ran from the hotel, tears streaming down her face. I trusted you, Nathan. I thought you changed, but maybe I was wrong, she whispered, turning away. The rain started to pour as she stepped outside, her resolve firm. She couldn't let her heart break again. Nathan panicked, calling her name into the rain, but she was already gone. He realized with a sinking heart he might lose her forever. A month passed and Anna, still struggling with the memories of that rainy night, had kept her distance. She moved to a small hotel and focused on work, but Nathan never left her thoughts. When she returned to the Imperial Crown Hotel, everything felt familiar. The scent of lilies, the warm golden lights, the soft piano music, but nothing could have prepared her for what Nathan had planned. She entered the redecorated Anna's suite on the 45th floor, her heart racing. Nathan, standing in the doorway, greeted her warmly. I spent the past month preparing this for you, he said, his eyes sincere. You're not just part of my past. You're my entire world. Anna, overwhelmed by emotion, whispered, I need time, Nathan. But thank you. Nathan, unwavering, responded, I'll wait, no matter how long. A week later, Anna returned to the hotel, ready to finalize the contract with Nathan's company. But when she entered the suite, she was surprised to find the room filled with friends, colleagues, and family. Soft golden lights, white lilies, and a live band set the scene. Nathan, smiling, took her hand and led her to the center. He knelt, pulling out the wedding ring she had left behind. Anna, we failed before because I was foolish, but I swear I'll never let you go again. Marry me, please, be my wife once more. Tears filled Anna's eyes as she gazed at the ring, at Nathan's sincerity, and the journey they had both taken to find each other. Yes, Nathan, she whispered. I will. The room erupted in applause. Nathan stood, pulling her into a passionate kiss. Thank you for giving me a second chance, he whispered. She smiled, her heart full. Don't make me regret it, Nathan. Years later, in a suburban New York villa, Anna and Nathan watched their twin children, Emma and Ethan, playing in the garden. With laughter filling the air, Anna leaned into Nathan's embrace. feeling his warmth. "Look at them," she whispered. "They're like you, mischievous but lovable." Nathan kissed her hair, holding her close. "And they have your strong heart." Together they had found their happiness, a life filled with love and hope.